In this day and age, Doom needs a better representation than ever. With Doom Eternal appearing to be one of the highlights of this coming year's releases, there will be a lot more scrutiny brought to the original games. On one hand, we have speedrunners like Zero Master, who are still discovering new ways to manipulate the game and explore the amount of thought it takes to plan a strategy for their different speed goals. On the other hand, we have this piece of shit. If you don't know who Varg Skeletor Joel is, please inform me of how powerful of an excavator you need in order for me to lift that rock that you've been living under. On the surface level, he's an irregular Twitch streamer that plays a variety of games of all type and genre. And in relation to the Doom community, he's the member who's in charge of the Vinesauce Doom mapping contest. While it's only been going on for 2 years, it's aimed to be an annual contest where anyone can submit their Doom maps to be played live on his stream, with moderator consent. And to be brutally honest, this really needs to end, because this is so unbelievably damaging to the community as a whole that I am clawing my eyes out at every stream notification, or few that may be. Let's start with the head of this Oregon Trail of diarrhea. Oh wait, let me fix this. There are 2 simple facts that will prevail throughout the entirety of the problems of this contest. The first is, to expect general streamers of so many games to be good at very specific things is expecting too much.
Watch for the emote, watch for the emote, watch for the emote.
Fuck off.
But with as much experience that Joel has had with the original Doom throughout his life, you would think that he would have a better grasp on how the game works. Hell, his first ever stream was Brutal Doom.
Since oh god, what? The screen's all messed up.
But if you're only talking in the scope of the contest, he's already had a year of experience from the previous one alone. You would think that someone that loves the game as much as he claims would want to learn from their mistakes and teachings. You would think they would have a greater understanding of design norms and how to properly navigate most maps. You'd think he would get better. This ties into the second point of why this fails. If this was simply a community showcase where the reward was seeing something that you created on the big screen and an entire army of 20,000 babies cry about how it's not theirs, then there wouldn't be a skill problem. However, the fact that there is legitimate currency being given out for these maps makes skill an absolute necessity. You have to have some level of credibility if you're going to be judging design. This is no longer a regular stream where you can get by with a couple of jokes that involve being a different accent that isn't yours and saying pee-pee a couple times. You are now in a position of power. I've seen so many great WODs get absolutely shafted, simply because of either the sheer length of the map and the effort in making the layout complicated and intricate, or Joel being a fucking dumbass. Dark New Babylon, for example, a map that I am so excited to legitimately play once the contest is over, was dismissed as a confusing mess of dull textures simply because Joel was scrambled in a few of the segments. All of that work in theme, layout, planning, detailing, and sheer unadulterated passion for a project was completely obliterated.
But there really is a thing such as too much. I may have gone too far in a few places.
There have definitely been some maps that deserve the poor attention that they received, but there's such a lack of respect for the work that goes into these that it's frustrating. Joel isn't alone in the staff though. Let's move on to moderation, or lack thereof. The process for submitting a WOD was simple. Send the WOD, the moderators check the WOD, then Joel gets the WOD. We do this for 40 weeks and then we die. Comparing this to last year, the moderation has been so much worse. Go refresh yourself on the Mapping Contest 2017's rules because oh boy do they not even matter. There are maps that have slipped through that have had more than one map, compatibility with a different type of GZ Doom, and completely and utterly ignore making a map altogether because they have a chance to make a funny meme. Joel has directly called out his mods multiple times simply because of their lack of filtering what gets to him.
This is Noob Slaughter. Mods, did we approve this? Your name is a little questionable. I'm gonna call you. You know who you are. Let's just say you are Nice Carl.
And then he has to play it live because it would be a terrible look to just toss it right then and there. But don't worry, they're listening to your complaints about maps being too long because you need a fix like the digital crack junkie you are. So our lovely moderators have only been approving WODs with small file sizes, while the larger ones have been on the back burner. Let's get something straight here. Unless you're making a map in UDMF, there is no way in hell that the majority of the size would come from the map data itself. Any bulk and file size would be generated by textures and sprites. If our mods knew anything about Doom WODs, then this would be common knowledge. And again, if this didn't involve actual cash prizes, and their jobs were just to screen to make sure nothing racist got through, then it wouldn't be the end of the world. But this has weight to it. This has importance. Fucking act like this has some importance. If you're not taking the work of this community seriously, then why should anyone else? This is how people are going to view the upper echelons of this community. This is what you are showing people. So this part developed after I finished recording everything, and it does shed a lot of light on as to why the moderation has been so bad this year. Apparently Joel did have an entire mod team, but one by one they just abandoned him. Until the only mod we had left was Mr. Anthro Bigger Means Longer Pophagus. And then he abandoned Joel for a month too, using the excuse of real life. If I'm signed on for a contest with monetary distribution, and I don't provide anything for that contest for a whole month, I should expect to get my teeth kicked in. But when you allow Joel to make a new Doom World account to apologize for everything that's your fault, without even so much as an oops, you come off as an absolute piece of shit. The way I was leaning originally is that it was 40% Joel's fault and 60% moderator's fault. But with all these new details, it now looks more like 20-80. Yeah, I do think Joel needs to get a lot better at this game, but the only way he can do that is if he actually has WASD to play. Fucking real life. You're telling me you can't, instead of, I don't know, jacking off in your hotel room, you can't open your laptop, play 2 Doom maps, and call it a night. Joel's only playing 5 maps a stream now, but no, life is so hard that you have to let Jimmy, someone with more work cut out for them than I've ever seen in this community, pick up your slack because Joel called you out again. How can you have such a poor work ethic when the only thing you've been asked to do is play Doom WAD? Now, if you'll allow me to go on a tangent for a specific WAD, this case in point involves the WAD Twitch HQ 2, created by Doom World member Doom the Robot. It's a pretty good map, albeit with a load of inside jokes that I couldn't even begin to understand, but it's easy to see that it was a passion project. It was made because Doom the Robot clearly enjoys it and wanted to have fun for this contest. When Joel got to it, however, just like Dark New Babylon, he blew through it like a Caucasian's asshole at a chili festival, ended up getting lost because he has no clue how to do basic navigation, and ended up digging himself in so deep a hole that he had to restart the latter half in a different street. It's honestly a pretty piss-easy WAD too. It's almost embarrassing. Here's the real kicker though. Back in his Doom shareware stream, where he played a bunch of garbage level levels, in the beginning where he was flicking through his autosaves, you can clearly see that all of them are stills from Twitch HQ 2. That is fucking right. Joel had already ran through Twitch HQ nearly 6 weeks before the contest began, and almost 14 weeks before he even played it on stream. But what if it's possible that the mods just send the entire GZ Doom folder like the lazy hacks they are? In order for the thumbnails of these saves to be showing up, they would have had to have come from Joel's INI file. In layman's terms, an INI file is a bunch of save settings that is generated on a per computer basis. They come from the system's username. The only way we would be seeing these thumbnails is if it was his system that was generating them. Joel actually skipped ahead through the entirety of Twitch HQ 2 and still got lost. Why the fuck should anyone on this crisp burnt fuckhole of a planet trust you with any form of cash prize when you can't even cheat at this game correctly? I have never in my life seen such arduous work from such a dedicated inner community get trashed to this insulting extent. And whoever the big name mappers are that are watching this, once I spam it in every Discord possible, I encourage you, no, plead to you, do not participate in this contest next year should there be one. I have seen your work through these streams. You deserve so much better. You deserve better for your skill, for your creativity, for knowledge of this game and how it can be brought to light in a style that you're comfortable with. This community deserves better.